Welcome back. I'm MTG Joe, and we're completing our full set of Ravnica only card decks. So these are new, easy to build decks featuring cards from the last two sets, Guilds of Ravnica and Ravnica Allegiance. So these are geared to the players who are newer onto MTG Arena and are slowly accumulating their collection. These are a little bit more powerful and streamlined than some of the starter decks, but I wouldn't call them necessarily tiered 1 decks. They're kind of in the middle. So the goal of this series, and you can check out any of the other videos on YouTube as well, is to put together with only the last two sets, with the exception of mana base. So in this case here, we're playing 4 of the buddy or check lands, as they're often referred to. These cards here are from Ixalan, so Glacial Fortress. It's important to have a smooth mana base when playing out these more untailored decks. In this build as well, we are playing 2 Spell Pierce. It's a very good tempo play. It's only a common wild card from the older set, and it's important as part of this overall strategy. So we had a similar inclusion as part of the Golgari deck that we built with Stitcher Supplier. There's certain cards that you just can't really replace for an archetype, and considering it doesn't cost much, it's something you can include in. So this deck here is considered tempo, or to better explain it, you usually want to put out an early threat. So in this case here, we have 4 Healer Hawks and 4 Pteramanders, and then we're basically controlling their opponent's board, either countering their spells with Spell Pierce or Quench. If not, we can flash in like a Faerie Duelist, which just gains us the advantage here. Pteramander can become larger as the game goes along with the number of instants and sorceries we have. We have Tithe Taker, which makes their spells on their turn, their spells on our turn cost 1 more, and it effectively takes 2 removal spells because of Afterlife to take it off the battlefield. We're playing Sky Tether, so this will basically just take one of their big creatures, something with flying, and make it just sit on the ground and have Defender. Our main win conditions are in the air, so we can just fly over it. So this is very cheap removal, or pseudo removal in a way. We're also playing 2 Dovins, which can be plussed up and gain more counters with our cheap flyers. It could create tokens and gain us life, and then just give us card draw for the ultimate. We're also playing 4 Absorb. This goes into the tempo play while also gaining us life. We're playing 4 Conclave Tribunals. These can be cast for cheaper by convoking or paying for its mana cost with some of our cheaper creatures. And similar with Venerated Loxodon, we can tap our creatures to pay for this and just make them larger overall. And then we're trying out 1 Depose Deploy, so we can either tap an attacking creature, this could save us from lethal, screw up the combat math, or we can just gain a bunch of life and create 2 tokens. So we'll take this for a spin. So these decks have all been best of 1 focused. If there is stuff that you're interested in a sideboard, let me know in the comments. I will be putting together another write-up on Reddit with recommended upgrades and then what the deck could become. So that there will go up hopefully later today, so February 26th, if not on the 27th. So here we could play tap land into land. We can hold up Faerie Duelist or Quench their first few plays. Would have been better if we had a 1-drop, but really can't complain about this hand. So this could either indicate that it's like Jeskai, so blue-red, so Naya. So Naya colors are green, white, and red. So this is likely some sort of creature mid-range. So here, I think we Quench here. The reason for this is this would allow him to get another creature. So here we can play out the Pteramander and then hold out Quench if need be. And this is how you gain tempo. So they paid 3 mana, and we paid 2 mana. and then this allows our Pteramander to get cheaper. So here we do have a choice. I'm probably just going to attack at this point. Fake holding up counters, flash in the Duelist, and then we'll convoke with Venerated Loxodon. So this card's very bad for our deck. So it could just ping all our creatures, so we're just going to exile it. So here we're going to play out the Tithe Taker. We'll pay as such. So we're going to leave back the 1/2 as a blocker. So this can shoot our creatures down by sacrificing goblins. And we'll just attack in for 1. We're not interested in trading. So Trostani's pretty bad here, makes all their creatures bigger, no blocks. Another Hallowed Fountain doesn't really help here. 7, so we can shock, but I think this turn just have the center untapped. And we'll just play it as such. So the reason we're not also doing it on the Pteramander is that it can adapt, and it can get larger by adapting. Depending what the opponent has, though, they likely have lethal. Them just going wide against this deck is quite effective. And they're playing Galta. So here we're dead. We can draw out a couple more turns, but we weren't going to get too far ahead. So we'll give it another shot. So we may have been too aggressive with the Quench there. But by not countering, they do replicate themselves. We'll keep this hand. We can Tithe Taker on 2. Oh. Opponent didn't like their hand, so they give us the win. So Sky March, the one we just unlocked, is another good upgrade card to consider. This is a good hand. We have a lot of... So we can get a Tithe Taker down and then hold up Spell Pierce and Quench. Looks to be mono red. So here I'm actually going to hold off, depending what they play on 2. I'll just flash in the Duelist. Was hoping for a land there. Just pass the turn. Here we'll just Quench. So we'll drop the Dovin down and attack in. So they have the Legion War Boss and the Scourge Prospector. So Sky Tether won't get around the ability. We do, so I think we just play out the Tithe Taker here. And created a Thopter. So the opponent can attack and mentor. We are holding up Spell Pierce if they have some sort of burn spell for one of our creatures. So they Lava Coil here, so I'm actually going to Spell Pierce just to make them use their mana. They're at the point of the game where Spell Pierce loses some of its effectiveness. So Lava Coil is a little rough because we don't get the benefit, so opponent sacks the Goblin there to Lava Coil our other creature. So here I'm going to block just to give us another turn of Dovin. So we're actually going to downtick Dovin. And then just so we can Conclave Tribunal to get rid of the War Boss. Siege Gang. So depending on what we draw, I think we're dead. They can sack to generate mana and then just ping us. Yep, so we're dead here. So the deck our style probably that's the hardest for us to deal with is go wide strategies, so lots of tokens, and that's what we've played against twice now. So we'll give it one more shot, see how the deck is. We'll try this out. Hawk into Quench into Dovin. Opponent looks to be on Guild Gates. Might be budget, might be the actual deck. We'll see based on their second land. Yeah, so that might just be budget. So this probably indicates another token deck, unfortunately. So drawing more lands is not where we want it to be. We'll end the turn. Here I'm just gonna Quench because I want to Dovin next turn. And I'd rather they not have anything on board. So here I just want to up our clock. And then we can start plussing up. We can get 2 more Thopters on our end step as well. So here we want to make that so it can attack. We'll plus up here. Play out the land and pass the turn. So we can absorb whatever kind of threat they play out now. I think just to keep tempo. And this is where like you see how we're controlling all the elements of the game. Pteramander is another good threat. So here we'll plus because we can negative Dovin the following turn. We're going to shock so we can Pteramander and play another spell, the deploy. Yep. We have 2 cards in the graveyard, so it'd be 6 to adapt it. So we can deploy and then adapt it next turn and minus Dovin. That is a big creature. So here we're still going to deploy. So there is a line where we just plus Dovin, so it gets 6 loyalty. I think we do that. If you want to spend time attacking Dovin, they can. So this is more intended how I envision the deck playing out, where we get to the point where we can ignore their 5/5. Another war leader. So they're dead in the sky, if they can't do anything. Yep. They're dead on attack. See if the opponent sees this or they want us to play it out. So they go straight for us. We'll just attack. And that's the game. So this gives you a better idea of like how the deck's intended to play out. It's not as strong as say the Simic or Dimir decks we've also posted today, but it is something you could kind of play around with. You'd probably want to be more white-based aggro with a blue splash for like negate and spell pierce. But this gives you the idea. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If there's any variation or any other cards you want us to try in this type of build challenge. And like I said, if you are enjoying the content of the channel and looking for a way to support, a free and easy way to do so is just hitting that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Thanks for watching and have a great one.